What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be covering fat loss. So the reason why we're talking about this right now is because it is currently July 2nd, which means we're about 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks into summer break. And summer shred, fat loss, shredding, everybody is trying to lose weight, including myself, to look good since it's hotter with your shirt off. In a bathing suit, bikini, whatever you wear, you want to get rid of what I refer to as fluff. So for the past 4 weeks, I've been doing a summer shred and I've been documenting it on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go over there, follow me, so that way you can follow along. I started the weight loss at about 211 on June 1st. My last weigh-in last Friday, I weighed in at 203.2 or something like that. So I'm currently down about 8 pounds, which my goal is to lose 1.5 to 2 pounds of fat per week, which for the last 4 weeks I've been on track. So I've been having a lot of people ask me what exactly I'm doing to lose weight. Hey Bryce, could you help me out? I've had people hit me up saying that they've been struggling to lose fat, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to lose. We're not trying to lose muscle, we are trying to lose fat. And they've been asking. So I'm gonna treat it as this video as if you came to me, you asked me questions, and I break you through basically my 5 steps that every time I want to lose weight, this is what I go over. Now, first off, everybody's at a different point in their fat loss journey. Now, when I said I was gonna lose my fluff, and I've had a lot of people comment on certain videos like, oh, you could still see your abs, so what fluff are you talking about? This is my own personal opinion. If I am 10 to 15% body fat, I consider myself fluffy. Am I fat? No, but I consider myself fluffy when I still can grab, which in my videos you see, I'm grabbing love handles and everything like that and back fat. I don't like that. I consider that fluff. Now, if I'm at 15, excuse me, if I'm at 15% to 20%, that's when I consider my fat. By all means, I'm not saying I'm fat. This is my own opinion. I'm saying I'm fluffy. Once I get below 10%, that's where I consider myself healthy, athletic, and that is what I am shooting for. That is not what you have to be shooting for. You may be on a whole different scale on your fat loss journey. So by all means, what I'm saying about myself may not be the same for you, and that's totally okay. So I'm gonna go over my 5 steps basically so that you can set up your own fat loss program. So let's jump into it. All right, so first things first, obviously it is a summer shred. So when you decide that, hey, I wanna lose weight, I wanna get in shape, you gotta break it down. The first thing you gotta do is you gotta figure out your goal. Now, when I say your goal, obviously everybody could be different. I've also had people reach out saying that they're trying to put on more mass, more muscle, more size, whatever it is. That's gonna be different than someone who wants to lose body fat or get down to a certain weight. So I'm gonna use me as an example as I go through this. So like I said, I was at 211. My goal weight is about 192 to 194. And you might be thinking, Bryce, why are you saying that? Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because I have been at that weight before, and I have pictures of what I looked like at that weight. And I liked the way I looked, I liked the way I felt, and at the end of the day, I liked the way I performed. Because I've also had a lot of people say when they watch my videos, like, oh, you're doing too much cardio. I'm doing cardio, and by all means, you can lose body fat and weight without doing cardio. And I'll explain that later. However, it depends on your goals. So my goal at the end of the day was to get bigger, faster, stronger, and just better than I am right now. So when I am 192, I just don't want to look a good 192. I want to be able to perform. So the reason why I'm doing a lot of cardio and a lot of conditioning and a lot of AMRAPs and everything that I'm posting on my Instagram is, at the same time I'm trying to get down to 192, I'm also trying to improve my cardiovascular and my endurance, because I'm training for DECA events, High Rocks events, Spartan races, all that stuff. If you're not training for any of that and you're really just trying to lose body fat, then you don't have to do that much cardio. You can lose weight without doing cardio to a certain extent, which I'll explain. So main thing is be specific with your goal. Try to find out, when I was a personal trainer, I would tell people, what exactly do you want to look like? Like, find the physique of someone that maybe has the way you want to look, and then visualize it, get an exact weight that you want to get down to, because that's going to be factored in as we go through the weight loss journey. So me, again, I'm going to use me as an example. I'm at 211. I basically want to get down to 190, we'll say, for easy math. That's 21 pounds that I got to lose. Now, if I'm losing 2 pounds a week, which is what my goal, it's going to take me about 10 weeks to 11 weeks. So now I could break it down to, okay, how long am I going to be doing this? Is it an 8-week program, a 12-week program? Is it a 3-month program? Whatever it is, you got to establish your goal of what your goal weight is going to be. Now, once you have your goal, next thing I would ask you is, okay, well, we got to figure out how much you need to eat in order to A, lose weight, or B, if you want to gain weight. Now, we're using me for an example. So the first thing I did is, this is called TDEE. It's basically, layman's terms, it's how much you need to consume calorie-wise to maintain your current physique. Everybody has it, meaning if I eat, say, 3,000 calories a day and I don't work out and I sit on my couch every single day, I will maintain, we'll say, 205. That's my, basically just keeping me upright, keeping me this 205. Now, what that means is if I consume 3,500 calories a day, so now I'm in a surplus of 500 calories a day, by the end of the week, because 1 pound of body fat is 3,500 calories. So we got to do some math for this. If you add in 500 calories to your maintenance calories, which again, that's what this is, basically your maintenance. My maintenance right now is about 3,000 calories, which means if I eat 3,000 calories and keep up my daily lifestyle, which includes what I'm eating, my step count, my activity, meaning walking around the house, playing with my daughter. It could also include my workout, if you're working out. All of those things come into factor in how much calories you need to eat to maintain your lifestyle. Now, to figure this out, there's calculators online. You could type in macro calculator, you could type in calorie calculator, you can type in TDEE, and it'll give you a calculator, basically what it's gonna factor. They also have apps. So the app that I use, so I don't have to think about any of this, is it's just the first Phorm app. I go in there, I type in my age, my height, my sex, my weight, my activity. There's choices like lightly active, sedentary, moderate active, extremely active, all that stuff. You choose that, and then you choose, are you trying to gain weight or lose weight? I'd recommend maybe looking at a couple different ones and then just taking an average, because once you get that number, you're gonna have to kind of, well, I'll explain in a second. So, again, for me, my maintenance is 3,000 calories. But again, I want to lose weight. So if I'm trying to lose weight, then I'm going to minus 500 calories, which is going to give me 2,500 calories. So now I'm at 25 calories, 2,500 calories according to this. Now again, your calculator may not be accurate because you're factoring in humans, and humans are all different. So test this. We're going to test this. We'll come back to that in a second. So this means if I take and eat 2,500 calories a day for an entire week, then I will scientifically have lost 1 pound of body weight, because again, it's 500 times 7 is 3,500 calories. Now, that means basically you don't have to change your activity. According to the calculator, you don't have to, if you currently do not work out and you found your maintenance calories, you don't have to go out and work out. You can literally just eat healthier and you'll lose 1 pound per body weight, or 1 pound of fat per week. Now, what I do, and a lot of people do, is they get 500 from eating, 500 from eating, which will equal 3,500 by the end of the week. And then they'll get 500 from, we'll say, lifting or working out, cardio, whatever it may be. So now you take another 500 per day. That means you're basically burning these calories from activity per day. You times that by 7, now you get another 3,500 calories, which now you should have 2 pounds of fat per week. And you could you can mix this around. If you say, hey, the goal is basically 1,000 calories a day I have to lose. Now, if you want, you can lift more. If you want to burn more calories, say you burn 800 calories when you lift, well then technically you only have to minus 200 calories from your eating every single day. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But once you have your TDE, now you kind of basically are figuring out what exactly you want to do. One thing I recommend you do though is once you get your daily calorie goal, so mine is again about 2,400, 2,500, times that by 7. And the reason why I say you times that by 7, which I'm gonna do right now, I have it on my computer, but you wanna have your weekly number because that's gonna come into play later. So 2,500 times 7 equals, 2,500 times 7 equals 17,500. So, meaning, if I am consuming that many calories a week, then I should be in a deficit by the end of the week and I should lose 1 pound. And once you know this number, this is how you're able to play with your calories every single day. So once you figure out your goal, then you figure out your total calories that you need to consume in order to hit your goal weight. Whether it's, if I want to gain weight, then you got to be in a surplus, meaning you're taking in 500 calories extra a day. Now, if you're someone that works out a lot and has a lot of calories being burnt from activity, from steps, from working out, you may have to increase your calories 1,000 calories a day in order to gain weight. But for the sake of being, I wanted to lose weight, so I took this minus 500 from eating, and then I just got a lot more active. And again, I am a big believer right now. I'm currently trying to get 20,000. It started at 15,000, 20,000 steps per day. I work out basically 6 times a week. I run, I believe, 5 times a week. And then I basically got conditioning pieces 3 times a week. So I'm very active. Now, mind you, for my profession, I am a special education teacher for a high school. We are on summer break right now. So I'm now working 5 days a week. I'm not active at work. So you got to take that into consideration too. That's the reason why I'm trying to stay active while I'm on summer break, because I'm not getting the light activity from being at work 5 days a week. All right, cool. So now that we got our 2,500 calories, now we got to figure out our macros. Now, macros, you probably have heard macronutrients. Macros basically your food is broken down into proteins, carbs, and fats. Now, depending on what your lifestyle is, I am a firm believer you are not making a diet, even though we are calling it a shred. You're not making a diet. You're just going to try and fit this into your lifestyle, because you right now have a certain lifestyle that you're doing every single day. For instance, if we have proteins, fats, and carbs, right now ask yourself, what does your diet mainly consist of? Now, a lot of people overestimate how many grams of protein they take in a day. They're pretty low on this. Now, for proteins, just some ideas of what a protein looks like. You can get meats. So it may be red meat, it may be ground turkey, it may be steak, it may be chicken. Those are all basically meats that you can get protein from. You can also get it from eggs, egg whites. You can also get it from yogurt, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. You can get it from fish, salmon, tilapia, tuna. Those are all some ideas. And then the last would be a supplement, which would be a protein powder. So again, we have the list of proteins. Now, if we look at the list of carbs, you got rice, potatoes, you got red potatoes, you got sweet potatoes, you got oats, you got cereal, you got fruits, you got vegetables, and then you also got carb powders. And then after that, you have fats. Now, fats are gonna be oils, your butter, your nuts, almonds, cashews, gonna be avocados, gonna be peanut butter. So looking at these lists, which one do you predominantly like to eat? Are you someone that really likes to eat carbs? Meaning you like your potatoes, you like your cereals, your oats, your vegetables. Or are you someone that predominantly likes fat, avocados, nuts, peanut butter, and you're okay, that you like to cook in a lot of oils, butter? You gotta ask yourself, which one are you? Or you might be kind of a mixture, and that's fine too. I'll go for that. Now, the main thing with the protein is good rule of thumb is whatever your goal weight is, you should be at least consuming 1 gram per body weight. So again, my goal was 190 pounds. So I should be at least consuming 190 grams of protein. And then 190 times 4, because that's how many calories are in 1 gram of protein. So that's gonna give me 760 calories. And again, my goal is 2,400. So 2,400 minus 760, that means I basically have 1,640 calories that could come from either one of these sources. Now, with fats, it's 9 calories per gram. There's more fat per 1 gram. But carbs, there's only 4 calories in 1 gram, so you could have a lot more. So again, goal is 190. So whatever your goal weight is, that's how many grams you're gonna be consuming. And then you could kind of play with these. Now, the different types of lifestyles you can choose, for example, you might be if you're someone who doesn't really like carbs, you can go the keto route. Now on the screen, I'm gonna show you guys basically a little example of what your calories would look like. So again, say the goal is myself and I'm trying to consume 2,400 calories a day. So if you're looking at the meal plan on the screen, if I wanna go low carb, then on my macronutrients or my macros for the day would look something like this: 233 grams of protein, 64 grams of carbs, which some people may say that's still a good amount of carbs for someone who's low carb, and then 128 grams of fat, which would equal 2,239 calories. So I basically hit my goal of 2,400 calories. That's the low carb route. Now say you're someone that's like, no dude, I gotta have my carbs, I gotta eat. I like having carbs. The one right below that would be a high carb, an example of a high carb daily macros. So for high carb, my day would look like 194 grams of protein, which again, I'm trying to get 190 grams, so I hit that. My carbs would be about 259 grams of carbs, and then my fats are only gonna be 47. So that's the main difference. The carbs go up, fats go down on obviously high carb. My total calories, 2,254 calories for the day. So that would be on if you chose the high carb route. Now say you're someone that's like, Bryce, I like them both. I like having oats, rice, peanut butter. I like cooking in butter, whatever it may be. This is what a neutral one would look like. So my day, I would have 205 grams of protein a day. Again, the goal is 190, so I'm on point. 215 carbs, 59 grams of fat, and then my total would be 2,225 calories for the day. So those are some examples of how you would break down your macros depending on what your lifestyle is. Everybody's different, and you gotta ask yourself, are you more of the high carb? Are you more of the low carb? Or are you someone that's like myself, that I like the best of both worlds and I do carb cycling, which means some days I'm looking at a low carb day, some day I'm looking at a high carb day, depending on what I'm doing that day or whatnot. I'm not gonna really go into detail on that because that's kind of a whole separate beast that I need to cover. If you want me to go over what my carb cycling program is right now, or carb cycling program is right now, which also includes my cheat days and all that stuff, comment below and then I'll possibly do another video maybe next week or in 2 weeks breaking down my current carb cycling plan for the summer shred. All right, so now once you got your actual macros broken down and you figure, hey, this is what my macros are gonna look like for the day. And again, this is for someone who's 2,400 calories, a 34-year-old male, 5'11", 203, or 211 when I started this. That's mine. So you gotta plug in your own calories and all that stuff and figure yours out on your own. Unless you are a 34-year-old male that is started at 211 pounds, 5'11", and super active, then you could follow this plan. If you're not that, it's not gonna work. You gotta plug in your own numbers. Once you figure out that though, then you gotta also figure out how many times per day are you eating? Are you someone that kind of falls into the intermittent fasting period where it's like you wake up, you don't really eat breakfast, and then you eat at lunch, and then you eat at afternoon lunch, and then you eat at dinner? That's probably intermittent fasting, which intermittent fasting, all it is you choose an 8-hour window that you eat all your calories, you eat all your food. Now for the remainder 16 hours, you don't eat anything. You only drink water, or people say you can have black coffee. Not a coffee from Starbucks. You can't have a Dutch Bros or Starbucks coffee where it's filled with sugar. No. That breaks the fast, so that doesn't count. But if you're someone that's like, yeah, I just usually have black coffee for breakfast and I don't eat it until noon, then you might want to go the intermittent fasting. Again, you're not trying to change your whole lifestyle. If you're someone that eats 1 or 2 meals a day, you switching over to, okay, now I'm gonna pay attention to my calories, I'm gonna try to work out a lot, I'm gonna try to get a big step count, I'm gonna try to drink all this water in a day, and then I'm gonna try to eat 6 meals a day. I don't think that works, just because you're taking on a lot of things and changing all these habits that you've been doing possibly for a very long time, if not your whole life. I just don't think that works. Unless you are super disciplined and maybe you have a very painful situation that you want to get out of and you're willing to do everything, then that might work. But chances are I would not implement so many changes into your life, because then it may just be a 30-day diet and then you go back to your old lifestyle. Again, you have a lifestyle, let's try to make it healthy. The second option is frequent feedings, meaning if you are someone that likes to eat basically 3 big meals a day and then 2 snacks per day, then I would go frequent feedings, because that's what your lifestyle looks like. And again, like I said, it's basically a breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, done. And then your workouts or whatever are worked around that. Or you could be someone like me that again is like a hybrid. I do basically intermittent fasting on my low carb days, and then I do the frequent feedings or the 5 to 6 meals a day on my high carb days. If you are someone who has been following my channel for a long time, then you know I am a huge believer of balance. I do not think an extreme of anything is a good thing, meaning people that swear by the carnivore, I think there's benefits to it. I don't think it's right for everyone. People that swear by going vegan, I think there's benefits to it. I don't think it's right for everyone, especially when even people that are like, no, you should never lift weights, you just should run all the time. I don't think that's the best way. If people are like, you need to lift weights, running is stupid, I don't think that's the best way. I am a huge believer that everything has certain benefits, and I like to personally take those benefits that work for me from each of those aspects and then implement them into my lifestyle. So again, I used to do intermittent fasting, I liked it, and then it just didn't really work for me. I've done the 5 to 6 meals a day, did that, didn't really like it. And there's research on all of these things when it comes to fitness. There's research on everything of why it's the best for you, why that same thing could be the worst thing for you. So me, like I said, I like to just switch it. I like to do carb cycling, so I get the benefits of the low carb, I get the benefits of the high carb. I like to do intermittent fasting, and I like to do the frequent feeding, so I get the benefits from both of them. That's my own personal opinion, but you got to figure that out, whatever works for you. All right, so now once you have all of that, so you have your daily calories, you factored in your lifestyle, you say, hey, you know what, I'm going a low carb, I got my macros, or I'm gonna go high carb, cool, I got my activity. You gotta test it. And why you gotta test it is because, again, you got this number off a calculator, it's not 100% accurate. Just like these watches aren't 100% accurate. When they say, oh, I burned 800 calories, if it says I burned 1,000 calories in a workout, I would probably say that's about 80% right. I wouldn't say, oh, I really burnt 1,000 calories. No, you might have burnt 800, but again, data is data at the end of the day. I refer to it the same way I refer to like a body fat percentage. When I step on the scale, if my scale says I'm 15% body fat, am I really 15% body fat? I don't know. But if in 4 weeks later, I step on that same scale and now it reads 13% body fat, according to that piece of data, I have lost 2% body fat. Now my actual body fat may have went from 10% to 8%. That doesn't really matter. All that matters is I'm tracking the same way. So when it comes to tracking your progress, I'm a firm believer you got to do it for 2 weeks to see if you either plateaued or if you're seeing progress. Now, the way I test my progress, obviously scale. I weigh myself every single morning. I don't really care what it says every single morning, but first thing I do is I wake up, go step on my scale, read what it says, and then I track it. And then at the end of the week, I take an average of what my weight looks like from the previous week average. So if my weekly average dropped 1.5 pounds, I'm good. But I also take my Friday reading of my weight every single week and see how much that has dropped. So if I'm going off my Friday weekly weigh-in, since the time I started, then I have lost 2 pounds. I went from 211.3 to 203.3 in 4 weeks. So I've lost exactly 2 pounds per week. Now my weekly average doesn't look like that. When I look at my weekly average, it's closer to like 1.5 pounds. Again, doesn't really matter, that's one way of tracking. The second way of tracking is pictures. I would recommend taking you could do it every day. I don't like doing it every day. I would say take a weekly picture to see from the front, from the side, from the back, and then even like a pinch test. As you're taking a picture, pinch. How much can you grab? Like that's one of the ways I'm seeing, okay, am I losing weight? Am I losing body fat? Whatever it may be. Another way you could test is you could actually go get your body fat tested at like an in-body scan or something like that. But again, if you're gonna do that, do it on the same day. So if you get it tested first thing on a Friday morning, 4 weeks later, get it tested first thing on that Friday morning so that you can get an accurate reading. You could also take measurements. You can get one of those calipers and pinch, and you could also just get one of those tape measures that go around your arms, your waist, your thighs, all that stuff. You can measure that way. You could track your clothes. Or if you have someone that you live with, like my wife will sometimes tell me like, oh, you look like you're getting leaner, or you look like you lost some fat, or whatever it may be. That's another way. So track. Now, once you monitor, pay attention to what happened to your progress. If in 2 weeks or if in a week you've lost 1 pound to 2 pounds per week, then you're on track. Now, if your body weight and nothing has changed, this is like worst case scenario, which we don't want to happen, but if you did everything you were supposed to, you should be losing at least 1 to 2 pounds per week. But for sake of it, say you have not lost anything. If you haven't lost any single weight for 2 whole weeks, now you gotta make an adjustment. Now the adjustment comes from one of 2 things. So if we're going back to this, a 500, it's science, 500 calories, you can drop your eating 500 calories. So if you were consuming 2,500 calories, well now you gotta drop it down to 2,000 calories, do that for a week, don't change your activity, don't change anything else, and see if it goes down. If it goes down, cool, you're right on track. However, I would do both. Maybe drop it 250 and then increase your step count so that you're burning 250 calories more per day. Or if you're like, I don't want to adjust my eating at all, I'm basically at the lowest amount of calories I could eat because I'm hungry all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my activity 500 calories per day. And that might be something of you go for more walks, you increase your step count, you go for a jog, you hop on a bike, you burn 500 calories throughout the day some other way. That would be the way you can make adjustments. And then again, you're gonna rinse and repeat. You make the adjustments, you monitor for 2 weeks. If you're losing weight, cool, you're on track. If you plateaued, then you gotta make an adjustment. Again, one of these things, you gotta either eat less or move more. It's as simple as that. Now, just because it's simple does not mean it's easy. I'm not saying that at all. If it was easy, everybody would be walking around with less than 10% body fat. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to hold yourself accountable, but you gotta, at the end of the day, go back to your goal. Why do you wanna do this? And then just break all this down. But once you test it, like I said, if you followed this and you got your exact number of calories that you need to eat to maintain, once you put yourself in a deficit or a surplus, you should see your weight. I read something the other day that said most people put on 4 pounds of body fat at a certain part per year. If you had to guess which time per year, the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, the end of the year, when do you think people put on 4 to 5 pounds of body fat a year? If you guess the end of the year, then you are 100% right. And again, what's at the end of the year? You got Halloween, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas Eve, you got Christmas Day, you got New Year's Eve, you got New Year's Day, you got all these holidays, and every time there's a holiday, there's always good food. The average person will put on 4 to 5 pounds of fat at the end of the year, but then they never lose it. And then they put it on again at the end of the year again. So in 2 years, you put on 8 pounds just from the end of the year. Now again, my thing is lose all the weight in summer, get to a maintenance. Once I get to my maintenance, once I get to my 192 pounds, and I've been at this deficit of 2,400 calories and I'm starving, which if you do it right, you shouldn't be hungry. I'm fine every single day. I'm never really like, oh my gosh, I'm starving. Which again, if you want me to do my carb cycling, I'll break down how I do treat meals, cheat days, whatever you want to call them, because I think that is something that you have to incorporate so you don't go insane. But again, once I get down to my 192, I could bump up my daily calories to about 2,900, 3,000 calories per day, because again, that's my maintenance. And then now I'm cruising. Now I'm able to eat 3,000 calories a day of a lifestyle that I like. I could switch it up, and I'm still gonna be that 192, less than 10% body fat. So anyways, I hope this video helped you guys. If you guys have any questions or anything, please comment below. If you wanna see my current carb cycling program that I have been using to lose 2 pounds of body fat per week, then comment below, let me know you wanna see that, and I'll do that video next week. Again, I'm a huge believer of balance. I don't think you should be an extremist of anything when it comes to your health. That's my own personal opinion. But I hope you guys are tracking. I hope you guys are able to hit your goals. I hope everybody's having a successful weight loss journey so far. And then again, follow me on Instagram because I will be documenting. My goal is 192 pounds. If I did the math correct, I should be there by August 3rd, right before I go back to work, which that is exactly what I want. I want to go back to work and then be able to kind of, pull my foot off the gas and just maintain through basically all the way until Christmas, because once I go back to school, then I'm gonna be looking into maybe possibly a Spartan, a couple Decas, and then obviously the High Rocks in December. And that's really what I'm getting towards, is I wanna get to that 192. Once I get to that 192, then really ramp up. Okay, let me more focus on my training, my lifting, my endurance, all that stuff. Because right now my main focus would be my weight loss and then my endurance, because I don't wanna lose endurance once I start building it up. So Anyways, appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and then you guys already know the motto. Stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, don't be average. I will catch you guys in the next one. Now go lose some fat.